A woman cannot resist man's touch in these 9 places. Touch is an important aspect of interpersonal communication. In romantic interactions with women, physical contact is very vital. Did you know that a man's success with women is primarily dependent on his ability to correctly touch a woman's body? After all, this is a whole art. Every person has sensitive touch points or erogenous zones on their body. Because these zones change from person to person, you may not experience the same sensation when touched in the same location as someone else. It takes little effort to find these. With the help of touches, you can send a woman many clues about what you want from her. Today, we'll discuss the 9 most sensitive places of a woman's body and offer some helpful advice on how to touch her. Let's get started. Some tips for learning how to touch a particular woman. Women usually are kinesthetic by nature. It means that their sense of touch takes priority over their hearing, sight, and other senses. A woman's body is covered much more receptors than a man's. The number of these receptors is higher in some places of the body known as erogenous zones. Women, recognizing their sensitivity to touch, unintentionally contact their interlocutors up to 6 times more frequently than men. Touches are a unique language through which individuals express and convey their feelings and emotions to one another. For women, touching plays the role of relaxation and the demonstration of tender feelings and care. Touches from a loved one or just an attractive person make a woman feel desirable, boost her self-esteem, and provide a sense of peace and happiness. As a result, it is hard to develop a romantic connection with a woman without using a delicate touch. It not only maintains, but also forms and strengthens an emotional connection. That is why many pickup artists advise exploring a woman's most sensitive areas and learning how to touch her and get her excited. Most women know the answer to the question, where do guys prefer to be touched while kissing? Men, on the other hand, have some issues when it comes to asking the same question about women. So, where would women prefer to be touched? 1. Lobe of the ear. The lobes are one of the most powerful erogenous zones, so keep that in mind. Don't forget about the area behind the ears. However, you should go gently and slowly. You may brush a woman's hair with one hand while caressing her ear with the other. Very few men pay attention to the ears, practically leaving this area unattended. If you've known each other for a while and have progressed to a new level of intimacy, you can caress the lobes of her ears with your lips. Such touching will have a powerful impact on her. However, if you have only recently met, do not do this. Furthermore, make sure that the woman enjoys these touches. Some women have very sensitive ears and do not want to be touched. 2. Her hands. If your relationship is still in its early stages, hands are the most appropriate and safe option for caresses. There is a tremendous difference between just sluggishly taking the girl's hand in yours and softly caressing and massaging her palm and fingers. Touching her hands will demonstrate to your girlfriend that you are not in a rush and are not looking for something more serious, but rather to enjoy the current phase of your relationship. Women value such conduct. Furthermore, even accidental contact with the back of your hand will be incredibly appealing to a woman. Believe us, it causes the hair on the back of her neck to rise up. 3. Knees. A relatively limited amount of males pay attention to this specific area of a woman's body, preferring the hips. However, women enjoy it when guys touch their knees. If a woman is wearing short dresses and skirts, take advantage of this opportunity to touch her knees. By the way, the knees are one of the erogenous areas of the female body. So, while stroking a woman's body, do not ignore this area. 4. Collarbones and shoulder. If a woman comes for a date wearing a dress, blouse, or t-shirt that exposes her shoulders and collarbones, be sure to touch them. First, gently brush her shoulder with your fingertips. Then, softly slide a finger from her shoulder to her collarbone. This will slightly arouse the woman. You may even kiss these parts of her beautiful body. It'll give the woman much greater pleasure. 5. The inner parts of the body. There are 3 basic inner parts of the body to touch a girl: her wrists, feet, and belly button. If you hold a girl's hand, You can softly caress her wrist. Women's skin is extremely delicate, therefore avoid harsh and aggressive touches. You might start by caressing her palm, then go on to the wrist. Following that, you can touch the rest of her hand without concentrating on the wrist. Moreover, many women go crazy over massaging their feet. You'll be shocked to learn that touching a woman's feet is a good way to arouse her. This should only be done when you are together at home. If she is sitting, take her foot in your hands and gently massage it. However, with some practice, you will be able to progress to a somewhat stronger touch. You can also caress a woman's belly button. This is an extremely intimate touch, implying that your connection is rather close. You can run your fingertips over her belly button and then make small strokes up and down. As so, the woman will experience even greater pleasure. 6. Hair. Many women like having someone touch their hair. And if you haven't used this approach before, now is the time. Touching the hair allows a female to sense your care, affection, and tenderness. However, there is one catch. A woman may dislike having someone touch her hair. First and foremost, you should look into it. For instance, you could ask about her natural hair color. Simply stroke her hair and compliment her. If the woman reacts positively, you may move on to the following stages, which include running your hand through her hair and slowly touching it, or just pulling a stray strand of her hair away from her face. 7. The back of the head and neck. Even ancient samurais recognized the back of the head as one of a woman's secret erogenous zones. But don't forget about neck caresses. You can touch it not just during a kiss, but also when you're merely talking to a woman or sitting next to each other in a cafe or movie theater. The most important thing to remember is that your touches should be soft and nearly weightless. There is no need for pulling a woman's hair. Do you want to know how to touch a woman to arouse her? For example, you may pull a section of her hair back and just run your fingers from the back of her head to her shoulders, and then vice versa. You may also make a woman feel your breath by standing behind her. It will add more intimacy and romance to your touch. Of course, you should ensure that the woman has no problems with this. 8. Lower curves behind the back. Another spot to touch a woman is the lower curves behind her back. You can do this while hugging her. In general, hugs are highly significant for the weaker sex, since they convey your affection and care. Try to pay special attention to cuddling, and make this gesture as often as possible. So when you hug a female you like, place one hand on her lower back and begin caressing it softly and gently. If you're walking somewhere together, you can place your hand on her lower back as if by coincidence and keep walking. Single women really like these touches. 9. Hip. The hips are one of the most sensitive areas of the female body. However, you should touch them if your relationship has progressed to a particular level of intimacy. If this is your first or second date, don't allow yourself such touches. How do you touch the hips of a female you like? To begin, carefully move your hand up her leg and then down the hip. Dutch studies found that anticipating men's contact increases sexual desire in women. Girls enjoy imagining what a man is going to do next. Well, there you have it. Thanks for watching.